Friend was telling her boyfriend we were best friends who hang out alone and then got mad when I told him the truth, then admitted she was using me to do something I never expected. My friend Sophia, 28F, is upset at me, 27M, for telling her boyfriend Noah that I am not her best friend. I am really lost on what I did wrong, and why I am getting the blame for the fallout of what seems like her own lies. The whole situation is a mess and I honestly can't tell if I effed up or if she's being unreasonable. Sophia and I met through a mutual friend at a house party about 5 years ago. She seemed cool and we hit it off well enough to exchange numbers, but we mostly just saw each other when our friend group got together on weekends. We've never been especially close or anything, just part of the same social circle that hangs out regularly. She happened to live in the same apartment complex as me for the past couple years, which was convenient when our group wanted to hang out, but nothing more than that. Sometimes she and other friends from our group would come over to my place to watch TV or just chill, but it was always with other people around. Nothing unusual about our friendship at all. I should mention that when we first met, Sophia did ask me out. This is probably relevant to the current situation. We had known each other for maybe a month, and she texted me asking if I wanted to go on a date sometime. I wasn't interested in dating her for a few reasons. I had just gotten out of a relationship, I didn't really feel any romantic chemistry with her, and honestly I was in a weird place in my life. I told her I valued our new friendship too much to risk complicating it, which was partially true but also a gentle letdown. She took it well, said she understood, and we never mentioned it again. Things weren't awkward afterward and we continued hanging out in our friend group like nothing happened. Sophia started dating Noah around 6 months ago. I met him a few times and he seemed like a decent guy, kind of quiet but friendly enough. He fit in okay with our friend group though he was clearly making an effort to impress everyone. What I found strange was that around the time they started dating, Sophia suddenly started messaging me way more than she ever had before. Before Noah, Sophia and I would barely message each other outside of group chats about weekend plans. Suddenly she was sending me multiple texts every day about random stuff like TV shows she was watching, music recommendations, and stupid memes. She'd send me TikToks at midnight with messages like "OMG, this reminded me of you," even though it would be something generic that could apply to anyone. It was weird, but I just figured maybe she was in that honeymoon phase where people get really friendly and outgoing when they're happy in a new relationship. But then she also started asking if I wanted to hang out at my place after work during random weekday evenings. She'd text things like "Noah's busy with his gaming friends tonight, wanna watch that show we talked about?" I would generally say no unless more friends wanted to join in. I didn't think hanging out alone with her was appropriate, especially since she had a boyfriend, and also because of that awkward history of her asking me out years ago. I usually made excuses about being tired after work or having plans already. A group of us were at my friend Jake's apartment for a party about 2 weeks ago. Sophia and one of my other friends, Melissa, left to pick up some food for everyone. While they were gone, Noah approached me and asked if we could talk privately for a few minutes. He seemed really serious, so I said sure and we stepped out onto the balcony. Noah looked really uncomfortable. He cleared his throat a couple times before finally saying, "Look man, being a guy, I thought you might understand. I'm feeling really uncomfortable about your friendship with Sophia." I was confused and asked him what he meant. He explained that he understands Sophia and I are best friends, his words, not mine, but he felt uncomfortable with her always texting me late at night, or hanging out with me at my apartment on evenings when he was busy with his friends or work. I was even more confused at this point because Sophia and I don't hang out alone, and we're definitely not best friends. We're friends, sure, but not particularly close ones. Noah continued, saying he had discussed his concerns with Sophia multiple times, but she kept telling him that she would not tolerate him controlling how she behaves with her best friend. He seemed genuinely troubled and said he was getting very serious about his relationship with Sophia and wanted to know if there was anything he should know before committing with his whole heart. The truth is Sophia and I are just regular friends, not even close friends really. She's just one of several women in my friend group that I hang out with casually. We've never shared any deep personal secrets or had heart-to-heart conversations or anything like that. So I told Noah he had absolutely nothing to worry about and that I wouldn't describe Sophia as my best friend because she's not. I also told him that I never hang out with Sophia alone, and she only visits my place when other friends are invited. This seemed to surprise him. "Really?" he asked. "Because Sophia's been telling me that you two hang out alone all the time when I'm not available. She says you guys have movie nights at your place." I shook my head and told him that wasn't true at all. I explained that Sophia had asked to hang out alone a few times recently, but I always declined or suggested including other friends. I mentioned that I thought it would be weird and inappropriate for us to hang out alone, especially given that she was in a relationship with him. Noah then asked if Sophia and I ever dated or hooked up in the past. I told him the truth, that Sophia asked me out about 5 years ago when we first met, but I wasn't interested and we never discussed it again. We moved on as friends and that was that. I emphasized that there was never anything romantic or physical between us. Noah looked confused and a bit upset. He asked me why Sophia would refer to me as her best friend and make up stories about us hanging out alone together. I told him I also found it weird and had no idea why she would say those things. I reiterated that we were just casual friends, definitely not best friends. Noah thanked me for being honest and said he had a lot to think about. He seemed genuinely grateful for the clarity. We went back to the party and I didn't think much more about it after that. Sophia and Melissa came back with the food, and the night continued normally. The next afternoon, I was playing video games when I got a call from Sophia. I could tell immediately that something was wrong because she never calls me, she always texts. I answered and she was fucking furious. She was practically yelling, asking me what the hell I had told Noah the night before. I explained our conversation calmly, not understanding why she was so upset. "You fucking a-hole," she shouted. "Why would you tell Noah we're not best friends? You've completely messed up my relationship." I was taken aback by her anger. I told her I didn't say anything bad about her, and in fact reassured Noah that there was nothing going on between us romantically or physically. I couldn't understand why she was so upset about me clarifying the nature of our friendship. She told me that she and Noah had a huge fight after the party. Apparently, Noah confronted her about why she would call me her best friend and tell him that she spends time at my apartment alone, when neither of those things were true. She then said I should have just backed up her story instead of contradicting her. "You should have played along," she insisted. "Now he thinks I've been lying to him this whole time." "Well, haven't you?" I asked. "You told him we hang out alone and that we're best friends." "Neither of those things is true, Sophia." She went quiet for a moment before responding in a slightly calmer voice. "It's complicated, okay? You don't understand our relationship dynamic." I needed him to think those things. I asked her why, but she just said it wasn't my business and that I should have been a better friend and backed her up. Then she hung up on me. I sat there staring at my phone, completely confused about what had just happened. Over the next few days, I got a couple texts from Sophia, but they were just cold, one-word responses when I tried to figure out what was going on. I also noticed she wasn't responding in our group chat like she usually does. One of my friends texted me privately asking if something happened between Sophia and me because she seemed upset at the mention of my name when he talked to her. I feel bad for Sophia and Noah both because they seemed really good together and Noah genuinely seems to like her. Sophia had told everyone in our group how much she adores Noah and that they are happy together. It's hard for me to understand why Sophia would lie to Noah about the nature of our friendship and invent scenarios where we hang out alone. None of this makes sense to me. I don't get why she would lie to her boyfriend about spending time alone with another guy, especially one she had once expressed interest in dating. That seems like a weird and potentially harmful thing to lie about if you're happy in your relationship. Some of my other friends think I should have just played along with her story to keep the peace, but I didn't even know what story I was supposed to be playing along with. How could I know she was telling Noah these things when she never mentioned it to me? Am I supposed to be a mind reader? Ida for telling Noah the truth? I'm not really sure I even understand why I supposedly messed up or what I'm supposed to do at this point. Update, thanks for all the responses and advice. Some of you called me an idiot for not seeing what was happening, and I guess you were right. I was completely oblivious to what was going on. Before I get into what happened next, I wanted to clear up some misconceptions from the comments. A few people assumed Sophia and I had something going on in the past or that I was secretly into her. That's not the case at all. Yes, she did ask me out years ago, but I wasn't interested and we just stayed friends through our mutual friend group. We were never close or anything special. Just normal friends who hang out in a group. Nothing more. Also, someone asked why I didn't just text Noah directly after Sophia called me. Honestly, I barely know the guy. We've hung out maybe a dozen times total, always in group settings. I don't have his number and it felt weird to ask someone for it just to get involved in their relationship drama. I figured it was between them at that point. Anyway, I thought I should update because something major happened last night. Sophia texted me yesterday afternoon asking if we could talk in person. She said she wanted to apologize for how she reacted on the phone. I was curious to hear her explanation, so I agreed and told her she could come by my apartment after I got home from work. She showed up around 7 p.m. with a bottle of wine. I didn't open it. She had said some really unkind things to me on Sunday after I told Noah that we were just friends, not best friends as she was trying to portray me to be. I also told him that I never hang out with her alone, and it's generally with a group of friends, as she had also lied about this to him. I was still a bit upset about being yelled at for telling the truth. Sophia sat down on my couch and apologized for blowing up at me. She said she was just upset and took it out on me unfairly. I accepted her apology but told her I was still confused about why she would lie to Noah about our friendship in the first place. That's when she dropped a fucking bombshell on me. She told me that she loves Noah, and he's really a good boyfriend in many ways. However, he's not very motivated and lazy. When they started dating, he wasn't putting much effort into the relationship, and she had to ask him for everything, planning dates, initiating conversations, showing affection, etc. It bothered her a lot because she felt like she was doing all the work. Then she told me something I didn't know. Noah's last girlfriend apparently cheated on him with his friend about 3 years ago, and it took him 2 years before he started dating again. Noah was very insecure about dating Sophia and asked her to make sure she shares everything with him, including who she's talking to and hanging out with. Sophia said Noah is a great guy, but she needed him to be a better boyfriend who puts in more effort. So, she came up with this fucked up plan to make Noah jealous by talking to me more. She said it worked because Noah started reading their messages, which is problematic in itself, but that's another issue. She told me she specifically chose me because she knew I wouldn't flirt back with her or try anything inappropriate since I had already rejected her years ago. She thought I was a safe choice for her manipulation scheme. She told me Noah kept asking her why she was talking to me so often, and she told him that I'm her best friend and she needs the emotional support and stability I provide since Noah is not emotionally available for her. According to Sophia, that made Noah start replying to her messages more quickly and being more present and attentive in the relationship. It gets even worse. She said Noah used to spend his evenings playing video games with his friends and ignored her during those times. So on those nights, she would message me and ask if she could hang out with me. When I would decline, which I always did, she would still tell Noah that we were hanging out at my apartment watching movies since he was unavailable. This apparently bothered Noah a lot, which was her goal. Sophia said Noah asked her to stop hanging out with me, but she told him that he can play his games with his friends and she can have a fun evening with me instead. Noah supposedly asked her repeatedly to cut contact with me or at least not hang out with me alone in my apartment, and eventually he stopped playing video games with his friends so he could hang out with her in the evenings instead. She told me she would make up stories to tell Noah about how I cooked elaborate meals for her when she came over, I can barely cook pasta without burning it, and how we had wine and painting nights where I would teach her how to paint. I have zero artistic ability. This supposedly inspired Noah to start doing similar activities with her to compete with me. Then she had the fucking nerve to tell me that I was an a-hole for not going along with her story and telling Noah the truth. Noah got angry at her when he realized it was all an act to manipulate him into changing his behavior. But then Sophia proudly told me about her latest lie. She told Noah that I downplayed our relationship because I was trying to protect her, that I'm such a great guy and was just trying to make sure that my best friend's relationship wasn't affected because of me. I was honestly disgusted at this point. I told her I wasn't happy being used as a pawn in her manipulation game without my knowledge or consent. She just laughed it off and told me it was a genius idea and there are no victims because she got what she wanted, and Noah is a much better boyfriend, thanks to her scheme. She explained her future plans too, which was even more disturbing. She said she will now show Noah how much she loves him by slowly reducing messages to me, while still keeping me as a threat that Sophia can fall back on if he changes his loving behavior. She literally referred to it as training Noah at one point, like he's a fucking dog or something. She pleaded with me to just keep quiet about the whole thing for her sake because she's so happy with the way Noah is now. She said their relationship is much better since Noah started putting in more effort, and it was all thanks to her brilliant strategy. I didn't know what to say. I just sat there in silence for a minute, trying to process everything she had told me. Part of me wanted to tell Noah everything right then and there, but another part thought maybe I should just stay out of it completely. I mean, I barely know the guy, and Sophia has been my friend for years. So what do you say? She asked, looking at me expectantly. Will you help me out? It's not like it affects you in any way. But it does affect me. She's been using my name and our friendship to manipulate her boyfriend. She's been telling lies about me without my knowledge or consent. And now she wants me to be complicit in her manipulation. I told her I needed to think about it, and she left shortly after. She texted me later that night saying she's sure I'll do the right thing and keep her secret because that's what friends do. She even had the audacity to say she owes me one. I'm really conflicted on what to do. Should I tell Noah the truth about Sophia's manipulation? Or should I just back away from the whole situation and let them figure it out? I feel really bad for the guy. He seems like a decent person who's being fucked with because of his insecurities. But if I tell him, Sophia will probably twist it around somehow and make it seem like I'm the one trying to break them up because I'm jealous or something. I hate being put in this position. I never asked to be part of their relationship drama. Final update. First, I want to address all the people who called me cowardly, pathetic, and an enabler in the comments of my last post. I know I deserved all of it. I was trying to stay out of drama that wasn't mine, but many of you were right that I needed to do something. I got hundreds of messages telling me to tell Noah the truth, and I seriously considered it. I also want to thank those who gave me constructive advice rather than just insults. This was a fucked up situation I never asked to be in, and I was genuinely confused about what the right thing to do was. I didn't want to post daily updates because nothing happened for a few days after my last post. Sophia kept texting me like everything was normal, sending me memes and asking how my day was going. I responded with short answers, not wanting to encourage her but also not ready to confront her yet. Noah didn't contact me at all, so I assumed Sophia had convinced him that everything was fine. I knew Noah probably wouldn't have believed me if I just went to him directly with the truth. It would likely have backfired and made him think I had feelings for Sophia and was trying to break them up out of jealousy or something. Also, I had no proof of anything Sophia told me. It would have been my word against hers, and obviously he was more likely to believe his girlfriend than some guy he barely knows. So I decided to talk to Sophia instead and try to appeal to whatever conscience she might have. Maybe that was naive of me, but I felt I had to try. About 5 days after my last post, I texted Sophia asking if we could meet at my place to talk about the whole situation. She agreed and came over after work the next day. When she arrived, I offered her water but no alcohol. I wanted us both clear-headed for this conversation. I sat down across from her and told her straight up that I was worried for both her and Noah because of how she was manipulating him by telling all these lies. I said that using someone's insecurities against them is a shitty thing to do, especially someone you claim to care about. You don't understand, she said, getting defensive immediately. Noah needed to step up, and this was the only way to make him see that. But you're building your relationship on lies, I argued. How is that ever going to work long term? What happens when he finds out the truth? He won't find out unless you tell him. We got into a pretty heated argument. I tried to get her to see that instead of spending time trying to train someone to act the way she wanted, she should find someone she genuinely likes for who they are. If Noah wasn't meeting her needs naturally, maybe he just wasn't the right guy for her. That's easy for you to say, she scoffed. You can get any girl you want. Some of us have to work with what we can get. That comment seemed to come out of nowhere, and I told her that wasn't true at all. I've had plenty of failed relationships and dating struggles. But that wasn't the point. The point was her dishonesty and manipulation. Sophia got really defensive and told me to stop being so fucking judgmental about her relationship. Then something unexpected happened. She suddenly broke down crying. Like, full-on sobbing. It caught me completely off guard. It's so easy for you to judge me, she said between sobs, but it's not like there are guys out there who are perfect for me just waiting around. I have to work with what I've got. She said something that really caught me off guard. She told me she knows she's not the most attractive looking person but has so much to offer in a relationship. However, the only guys interested in her just want a bangmate and expect her to be grateful they're dating her at all. She said Noah is cute and kind, but he was just like every other guy she's dated, initially attentive then gradually putting in less effort. The difference was that Noah was extremely insecure about her and was reading her messages. She said she just wanted Noah to be more attentive and caring, more like you, she added, which made me uncomfortable. Then she said Noah specifically asked her about me because of the way she looks at me and she realized he was insecure about me specifically. That's when she started messaging me and making Noah jealous, which apparently worked exactly how she wanted. I just wanted him to care enough to fight for me, she said. Is that so wrong? I told her what she did was still wrong, regardless of her intentions. She can't play on Noah's insecurities like this and expect it to lead to a healthy relationship. I said she can't train his behavior for the rest of her life and that she's just setting herself and Noah up for pain in the long run. I asked her to come clean to Noah and be true to herself, and said she deserves someone who likes her for who she is and not because they're insecure about losing her. She got pretty angry at that point and told me to get off my fucking high horse. She said sometimes it's not easy to find someone with all the qualities you want, and most relationships require compromise and work. Then she took a direct shot at me, saying I just date the first attractive girl I meet at a bar who's willing to sleep with me, and then break up after a month because we have nothing in common. That stung because she's kinda right. I do have a bad track record with dating, though not quite as bad as she made it sound. You know what's fucked up? She continued, getting more emotional. The type of girl you always say you want to be with. Someone smart, funny, who shares your interests and challenges you. That's exactly me. But you would never date someone like me because I'm ugly. I told her not to call herself that and that she's actually very beautiful, which is true. She's an attractive woman who happens to struggle with her weight, but she's far from ugly by any standard. I also said maybe we both need to change the kind of people we date so we can be happier. The conversation had veered into very uncomfortable territory. She started crying again and moved to sit next to me on the couch. Before I knew what was happening, she leaned in and hugged me tightly. It felt weird and inappropriate given everything we just discussed, and I quickly reminded her that she was still Noah's girlfriend and maybe she should leave so we could both think about things. She nodded, wiped her eyes, and left my apartment. I thought that might be the end of it, but the situation continued to evolve over the next week. 3 days later, Sophia texted me saying she had thought about everything I said and realized I was right. She said she couldn't continue lying to Noah and using me as a pawn in her games. She said she was going to tell him the truth about everything. I wasn't sure if I believed her, but the next day she sent me a long text saying she had spoken to Noah and told him everything. She said he was understandably upset and hurt, but she felt it was the right thing to do. She thanked me for pushing her to be honest. Over the next week, I found out from mutual friends that Sophia had indeed broken up with Noah. Apparently, she told him truthfully about what she did regarding me, but also told him that she wished all those things came organically from him instead of her having to manipulate him into doing them. Noah was really heartbroken and begged Sophia to give him another chance even after knowing everything, but she eventually blocked him on everything and cut contact completely. I'm glad Noah finally knows the truth and can eventually find someone who likes him for who he is and won't take advantage of his insecurities. Thanks again for all the advice on my previous posts. It really helped me get through this bizarre situation.